The St. Louis Cardinals hoping to sweep the Cincinnati Reds here this afternoon. Final game of a homestand. The Redbirds off to a fast start at 9-3. Rick Horton with Al Roboski. And Al, as you look at the Cardinals and their start this year, really it's nothing but good news.
It really is. They're really firing in all cylinders. You can see the offense has really come alive. They've scored 6+ runs a game. The ERA has been outstanding at 2.50. They're leading the National League with a 3.01 batting average, and the opponents aren't hitting much either.
Cardinals need to get their starting pitcher today on track. That's Adam Wainwright, looking for his first victory of 2012. He'll be opposed by Bronson Arroyo. We'll have more on both of our starting pitchers when we come back on Fox Sports Midwest. Was very good in his last outing, Al.
7 1/3 shutout innings. Only allowed 3 hits, but it resulted in a blown save and a 2-1 loss at Washington.
Adam Wainwright, 0-2 for St. Louis.
By his own admission, his last start against the Cubbies was the worst of his career, trying to figure out how to pitch after Tommy John surgery.
Arroyo and Wainwright pitch the finale here this afternoon. Some bats are missing in the National League Central. Pat Paris has more on that when we come back. draft offseason. We've already looked at the most impactful additions to the division. Now it's time to determine who are the 5 most important departures from the National League Central. Here's Pat Paris.
For 11 seasons, Albert was easily the best player in the NL Central, arguably the best player in all of baseball, and most certainly one of the best players ever to play the game. But he's gone, and so are a few other stalwarts from the NL Central. Here are our 5 most impactful departures from the division. Carlos Zambrano has been the face of the Cubs for nearly a decade, but no one was ever quite sure which face it would be. When he was making hitters look foolish, his antics were tolerated. But when the fastball wasn't as fast, his antics grew tiresome. The Cardinals won't miss him. He was 12-6 with a 3.40 ERA against them. For the last 4 years, Francisco Cordero had the 3rd most saves in all of baseball. His velocity, though, had been declining, while his age had been rising. And with the opportunity to grab Ryan Madson on a 1-year deal, Walt Jocketty was happy to part ways with Cordero. Until Jocketty learned that Madson will miss the entire 2012 season. The Cardinals won't miss Cordero, but the Reds will. Before the 2012 season began, Mike Matheny had exactly 2,728 fewer wins than Tony La Russa. Tony led the Redbirds to 2 championships in the last 6 years. How impactful will his departure be? Only time and the success or failure of Mike Matheny will tell. The Prince Fielder window in Milwaukee was open for 6 years. When the Brewers inked Ryan Braun to a 5-year extension a year ago, that made it clear to Prince that his time in Milwaukee was over. Braun does more on the baseball field than Fielder, but how productive will Braun be without that big fella's protection? Fielder was the heart and soul of the Brewers, and fans in Milwaukee might not easily forget him. The stat geeks will tell you that the additions of Carlos Beltran and Adam Wainwright are worth more wins above replacement value to the Cardinals than the loss of Albert Pujols. But the fans who watched Albert accomplish more in 11 years than most accomplish in a lifetime will tell you he'll be missed. His departure is clearly the most impactful on the NL Central, the Cardinals, the fans, and most of all, Ryan Dempster, who can finally relax.
Cardinals are sensing a sweep here in St. Louis. The defending champs have won 4 in a row. Adam Wainwright was keeping his teammates loose yesterday, but he'll be all business today as he gets ready to face Cincinnati. Redbirds and the Redlegs next on Fox Sports Midwest. Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By your Mid-America Chevy dealers, the #1 selling brand in St. Louis. Find us at stlchevy.com. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake, just no equal. Pleasant afternoon for baseball at Busch Stadium. Temperatures just above 70 degrees. Final game of the homestand, the Cincinnati Reds and the Cardinals. The Redbirds hoping for a sweep of the series here this afternoon. Here's the Reds batting order. Zach Cozart, the rookie, off to a good start, but a lot of Reds at or near the Mendoza line. Stubbs, Votto, and Phillips. Bruce, Ludwig, Todd Frazier, Hannigan, and Bronson Arroyo, the pitcher. For Dusty Baker and the Cincinnati Reds, and they'll face a guy that needs a win here this afternoon, Adam Wainwright.
Well, horrible start for Adam, but since 2007 has the 4th lowest ERA among major league pitchers at 3.03. So the one thing he's got to do, he's pitching with less velocity, he's got to tighten up the breaking ball, and a lot of times where he's been getting ahead with the first pitch, they've been jumping on that pitch, so he's going to have to make a little better quality, you know, instead of just a get ahead breaking ball or a get ahead fastball. He's going to have to concentrate with a little better location.
The defense behind Wainwright, Matt Holliday, John Jay, and Carlos Beltran in the outfield. For Colin Green up the middle, Daniel Descalzo getting the start at third today. David Freese a day off. Matt Carpenter, the first baseman. Tony Cruz spelling Yadier Molina. That's our Dobbs Cardinals defense. A veteran manager and a rookie manager.
Sure is a difference when Mike Matheny over there for Dusty Baker, when it's not Tony La Russa, and kind of a fired up feud between the two managers or even ball clubs. But with Tony gone, Mike Matheny hasn't lost a beat. This club keeps on winning, and they'd like to finish out a sweep and a great homestand.
Wainwright would like to get on track here this afternoon, and his first pitch is a ground ball to the right side. Carpenter has it. One pitch, one out. Good start.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It looks like these clubs are trying to jump on his first pitch. And that was 91 miles an hour, but a good location, just a little ground ball. It could work to his benefit.
Drew Stubbs has been a leadoff hitter in the past for Cincinnati, now batting in the second spot. And hitting just 186. Like a lot of Cincinnati Reds, struggling in the early going.
Hard to do when he has a 4-game hitting streak, but batting only 186, and he is 4 for his last 12. That's the pitches right there. You know, you're going to have to paint that inside corner. And still throwing strikes, but he's making them a little more quality.
The 0-2.
It's a good curveball there. You know, the harder one to put away a hitter. Just didn't get it to the plate.
They shade Stubbs to hit the ball into right center. That's John Jay, the Cardinal center fielder, who's shading him to the right side. Big gap in left center field. There's a ground ball to the shortstop. Stubbs runs well. You better hurry. And he is safe at first base. Close play there. Did Matt Carpenter keep his foot on the bag? Furcal had a little trouble getting that out of his glove, Al, but that was a bang-bang play at first.
Well, that's it. The little difference, it wasn't hit particularly hard. Furcal comes running in. He's still got a shotgun arm, but he had a little trouble with the exchange. Right there, you see it come on a double clutch, and they didn't get much on the throw, and Stubbs beats it out. Close play, but they say he's safe, and it looked like the replay verified it.
It's our Plaza Tire Foxmo. Strike one to Joey Votto, who's just 1 for 12 in his career against Adam Wainwright. But a very dangerous hitter in that third spot. Stubbs a threat to run. 40 stolen bases a year ago, and he has a big lead. Molina not in the game, so a pitch out. Nothing doing.
One thing right there, good base stealers can recognize that pitch out, and look like Wainwright really slowed up too much. Cutter right there, in on the hands, didn't get the call. Molina getting the day off. He didn't have much success against Arroyo, and neither did David Freese, who's out of the lineup, and Descalzo has great numbers against Arroyo.
Change up low. Molina just 175 against Bronson Arroyo, so he gets the afternoon off, and not unusual for a catcher. Get an off day on a day game after a night game.
That's probably going to be one of the trouble spots for Mike Matheny, because you know Molina wants to play every day, and Mike's going to have to just say, nope, you need a rest. Not that you need a rest, but you got to spell him every now and then.
Will Dusty Baker send Drew Stubbs here? A 3-2 count to Joey Votto. He strikes out a little more than you might think for a guy who is such a high average hitter, uses all fields.
I would send him because Stubbs stole 40 bases last year.
Another big lead. There he goes. Line drive foul. He'll do it again. Cardinals off to a fast start. 9-3. They've won 4 straight. 8-3 in the division. And that is without an Adam Wainwright with his A game.
Yeah, last time the Cardinals started 9-3 was all the way back to 2008.
Good memory. There goes Stubbs. Ground ball to the right side. So Tyler Green's going to have to throw it to first. And Stubbs advances. Take a look at our Toyota keys to the game. Adam Wainwright, Al, has been very good here at Busch Stadium since 2006.
Third best ERA at home in the National League. And look at Chris Carpenter, just slightly 1/100th of a point ahead of him. Kershaw, last year's Cy Young Award winner. He's a very talented young man. Adam will, he's been a runner-up to that Cy Young. Not last year, but the 2 previous years. He finished 3rd and then 2nd.
Misses to Brandon Phillips, the cleanup hitter here this afternoon. Just 29 at-bats on the season for Phillips. He missed 5 games with a hamstring issue, which he's still dealing with. He has not hit Wainwright well, and he's only had 1 extra base hit and no RBIs so far.
2 for his last 13 since coming back from his hamstring problems.
No question that Dusty Baker will keep running him out there, though. He is a all-star, Gold Glover. Brings energy to this team. Just has his limitations right now. Pretty good pitch to hit there for Brandon Phillips. Fastball middle of the zone and up, and he fouled it back. 1-2, and will we see the Wainwright curveball here?
Pitching with a little diminished velocity is Adam, and also the curveball hasn't been quite as sharp, so you're going to throw it, bury it, pull down on it, have that tight rotation.
There's the curveball.
Much better.
Very defensive swing for Phillips.
I think Adam got off to, in spring training, his first start, he's throwing like 93, and everybody just, accepted and said, okay, he's back. But as time went along, and I still contend, he's not making any excuses, but I still contend that his first 2 starts was a little bit of the dead arm stage. And really, his first start, he just made a couple bad pitches, and it cost him. And then last Friday, the home opener, he had the worst start. What cost him right here is he missed location. Cruz was set up inside. The ball was down and away in the corner, but to the umpire, he watches that catcher jump inside. You don't oftentimes get the pitch away.
Hanging curveball is hammered foul.
Foul ball.
One thing you worry about about Wainwright, really any pitcher, when you start focusing on miles per hour and your velocity, is that then you get this sense that you've got to start overthrowing the ball.
Yeah, and here's you're seeing there's the hanging curveball. He's way out in front, jumped on it. Good point, Rick. And you still got to pitch your game.
The 2-2. Stubbs, the runner at second. Another foul ball.
Now we forget that the Tommy John surgery is usually described as a 12 to 18 month process. And you just kind of, and the Cardinals got a ton of guys, a lot of starters that have had the Tommy John, but you just have to go through that process. And as the season goes along, he'll probably get stronger. And next year will be even better.
Wainwright has his sign. Checks the runner. The 2-2. Now 3-2. Foul ball down the line. Fan gets a shot. Tries to get his hands behind it. And, well, I'm not sure that's perfect form or not, Al.
For the fan.
Good effort.
Yes.
Full count. Line drive to right. Beltran down the line, and he makes the play. Basket catch in the right field corner. Wainwright through the first. The Cardinals, their first turn when we come back. Afternoon for Mike Matheny, Rafael Furcal. Big day yesterday at 3:53. Then Jay, Holiday, Beltran, Matt Carpenter, the starter at first base today. Tony Cruz behind the plate. Descalzo, Green, and Wainwright. Your Cardinals batting order. And they will face a workhorse who normally throws 200+ innings a year, Bronson Arroyo.
Yeah, since he was acquired by the Reds from Boston prior to the 06 season, Arroyo leads the National League and ranks among major league leaders in games started and innings pitched. He's tops in the National League in starts, innings pitched. For the third time in 6 years with the Reds, he was voted as the Joe Nuxall Good Guy Award. And also 3 of his last 6 seasons with the Reds, he received the Pitcher of the Year from the Reds organization. Here's a guy that doesn't throw hard.
No, he starts off with a breaking ball. What does that tell you? He has a very distinct leg kick. Changes speeds for call. Bloops this one to center field. Could be trouble, and it's a base hit. Off the end of the bat. Rafael Furcal starts things off well for St. Louis. Here's the defense behind the veteran Arroyo. Ryan Ludwig, former Cardinal, in left. Stubbs, good speed in center. Bruce, good arm in right. Frazier, Cozart, Phillips, and Votto on the infield. Ryan Hannigan is the catcher, and Bronson Arroyo, our Dobbs Reds defense. John Jay has hit Arroyo well. 474 career batting average against Arroyo, and he has a 5-game hitting streak. Ground ball to second. Could be 2. Phillips to Cozart on the first. 4-6-3 double play. Cardinals have shown some power early on. Arroyo gives up some home runs. Al, he gave up a ton last year.
Gave up 46 home runs. But 30 of those were solo shots. 3 of them by Cardinal bats. Holiday, a guy named Pujols. Wonder what happened to him. And John Jay. John Jay was 9 for 19 with that home run off Arroyo.
Even in Cincinnati, 46 is a big number.
There's a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame. The all-time leader is Bert Blyleven at 50. He's in the Hall of Fame. Robin Roberts used to lead the National League with a lot of home runs. But, you know, the Hall of Famers have a tendency to only give up solo shots.
Matt Holliday trying to get untracked at 182. Has hit into some bad luck in the early going. It really doesn't seem off at the plate, doesn't seem uncomfortable, just is not getting results.
0 for his last 9, but you know, he's been stinging the ball, and you just keep the same approach. Don't try and change things when you're just hitting bad luck, but you're hitting the ball well.
And there are times that every player will experience throughout the course of a year where you are off balance. You're not seeing the ball well. You look kind of bad at the plate. It happens to every hitter, but that's not really what we've seen from Holliday.
No, I mean, and his results will change. But it's nice to know everyone around you's hitting, so it's not accentuated.
Off balance swing there. Strikeout number 1 for Arroyo. We played 1, and there's no score from St. Louis. The 2012 season. If you're looking for ways to save some cash, find a great value at the ballpark, make sure to check out the Fan Value Corner at Cardinals.com/values. Strike 1 to Jay Bruce, who was originally not in the lineup today. He was a late addition as the only home run in this Reds lineup against Adam Wainwright in his career, and he's quickly 0-2.
See Adams' mound presence a lot better.
Results pretty good there as well. 3-pitch strikeout of Jay Bruce. And a good start to the second inning for Wainwright.
Strikeout pitch brought to you by Missouri Lottery. Look, you just see his determination right now. And he's feeling it, to where what he has is good enough in his mind.
Seeing a little bit of that bulldog mentality of Wainwright.
And it's hard to do that when you go out there and you feel a little unarmed.
Line drive to left, and it's going to go into the corner. Holiday runs it down. Ludwig headed for second. Stand up double. Second hit of the day against Wainwright.
Never get tired of seeing a player hustle. You know, there you come out of the batter's box thinking two. That way you can get a lot of doubles. Ball down in the left field corner. Nothing that Holiday did wrong. It's just well placed. Todd Frazier, who was the last cut in spring, and they had a good spring with the Reds, but when they picked up Simon on the waiver wire, he got sent down.
Line drive to right. Beltran catches it chest high, out number 2. Starting catcher for the Reds is Ryan Hannigan. .275 career batter. Just 200 on the season here. Like a lot of the Reds hitters. Sometimes you worry about a team like this, Al, that's off to such a bad start. You're just always afraid that they're all going to figure it out at the same time, the same day, and you're going to be the guy that's the recipient of it.
And you kind of sense that Dusty Baker's team will come out of it. You just hope it's tomorrow when they leave town.
Reds will be on to play the Chicago Cubs. The Cardinals off to Pittsburgh and then to Chicago. Oh, 0-2 to Hannigan. Curveball is strike 3 and strikeout number 2 for Wainwright. He strands Ludwig's double. No score. Bat 12 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Cardinals.com for details. Outstanding app it is. No score, bottom of the second from Busch Stadium. Cardinals off to a good start in 2012, and they've been off to a good start, Al, in most games. They've scored first 9 out of 13 games, and I think that's part of the reason they've been able to win so effectively in the early going.
I think they've only lost one time when they've scored first. They're 8-1 when they score first, 7-1 when they score more than 3 runs.
A lot of the offense has come from this man, Carlos Beltran.
Second in the National League in home runs now.
There's a little bloop to center field. This may drop, and it does. Very similar to the way the Cardinals first began with Rafael Furcal. Well, we haven't hit a ball hard yet now, but we got a couple of knocks.
Breaking ball. Beltran stays with it, and the outfielder's got to play deep because they know when Arroyo pitches, the ball's going to fly, and so we've kind of messed him up with a couple clunkers. Nice applause for Matt Adams. Excuse me, Matt Carpenter. Matt Adams, by the way, is the slugging first baseman at Memphis, and they have not officially put Berkman on the disabled list, but it's if Skip Schumacher comes out of the game. They have an 11 o'clock game in Memphis. They couldn't get him here in time for this one. And if he comes out of that one, he will be called up for Pittsburgh. And Matt Adams would have been a candidate, the power hitting first baseman at Memphis, but he's not on the 40-man roster.
Schumacher was 2 for 4 in his AAA appearance yesterday. John Mozeliak also said a day ago that he would not hesitate to bring up Matt Adams. He said he's ready.
But, you know, who do you take off the roster? You know, and in many ways, since Matt Adams is playing at AAA for the first time, he was at AA last year and was the Texas League Player of the Year. You just want him to settle in and just, you know, have a good solid season, just continue. He'll get to St. Louis soon enough.
Sure will. Matt Carpenter's here, and he's producing. There's a line drive to center field. There's a ball hit hard. See what happens when you hit the ball hard? They catch it.
Sometimes it works that way. Clunkers fall in, line drives are caught.
Tony Cruz spelling Yadier Molina here this afternoon. Tony Cruz, to me, in his opportunities, limited opportunities, had a chance to play the last year or so. We've seen some flashes of a player that can both catch and hit.
Right. He was a good little pinch hitter for the Cardinals, and then he played in 38 games last season at behind the plate, first, third, even an outfield at one time, and was errorless in all those assignments. He has 1 hit and 2 plate appearances against Arroyo.
Hit and run a possibility. Strike 1 on a curveball. Beltran has 3 stolen bases in 4 attempts, and the Cardinals have shown that they're willing to run a little bit more in the early going, and not just running, but they've been successful. 10 out of 12 times. Cincinnati with just 2 stolen bases on the year. The Cardinals with 10.
Had 4 last night against the rookie catcher, Mesoraco. Molina pretty much shuts down the running game. He's the best in the business. 4 consecutive Gold Gloves, but a day off.
Average lead for Beltran. Wild swing. Tony Cruz did not pick up the rotation on that pitch, and it's 0-2. Vision so important for batters. See the spin, react quickly. Will it be in the zone? Bronson Arroyo has a way of getting you off of your vision with all of his gyrations, all the arm angles he throws from.
Invents a pitch on the mound, whatever he needs.
Found what he needed there. Strikeout of Tony Cruz. Brings in Daniel Descalzo. And here's one of of those arm angles.
Slings the ball. He drops down, changes angles all the time, changing speeds very effectively. Been doing it for quite a while.
Descalzo has hit Arroyo very well. 7 for 12. And now you mentioned Arroyo was a good guy, award winner. Where's he been the last year and a half in this rivalry? Shouldn't he have been out in the middle of there kind of stopping all that mess?
Who's to say he wasn't?
Well, I didn't see him.
He might have been right in the middle and you couldn't have seen him.
You might be right.
The bottom of a pile in a fight is not a desirable place to be. Let's ask Jeff Suppan as he was crawling out from underneath it.
Funny video, isn't it?
Arroyo doesn't throw hard, but he does hit his spots and changes speeds. And we'll have several different variations and different pitch speeds of all of his secondary pitches.
He's ahead of Descalzo, 1-2. Beltran, the runner at first. Ground ball to the right side, right at Votto. Takes 2 steps to his left. Cardinal strand a runner, the great Ozzie Smith. Of the series, the Cincinnati Reds in town, and we are pleased to have Jan Albus with us. And Jan, the executive director of Variety, the children's charity network here in St. Louis, and pleased to have you with us here for the 3rd inning.
Thanks so much. It's great to be here.
You've got a very busy week coming up in April that we're going to want to tell folks about.
Very busy.
Number of events that you're going to be having that's going to help out our kids in St. Louis. And as Adam Wainwright gets ready for the 3rd, we'll tell you more about that. There's strike 1 to Bronson Arroyo. So some of the activities that you have include a telethon. You also have Emos partnering with you.
Yeah, we kick off actually Saturday with a big fashion show, Runway Lights fashion show at the Chase. And then the week is just filled with all sorts of activities for people to get involved in, to want to help the children with disabilities. Actually, I should say we got kicked off today with our little Molly, who threw out the first pitch.
We saw you down there. That's right.
She was really excited about that.
Very special.
Yeah. So then, we lead into Emos for Kids Day, and that pizza is so wonderful, and we're hoping that everybody will be sure to get their pizzas on Wednesday. Because 10% of everything goes to Variety.
And Emos has been a good partner of yours for 14 years and
Absolutely.
Raised a lot of money for you and your work with kids.
Oh, yeah. All the Emos stores participate.
Arroyo lines out to Beltran, out number 1. We're with Jan Albus, who's the executive director of Variety, the children's charity of St. Louis, and we're talking about their Variety Week, which will be April 21st through the 28th. And you talked about the fashion show and, of course, how Emos is going to help out, but you also have an event at the Peabody Opera House.
Right. The big event at the end of the week is at the Peabody. It's Dinner with the Stars, hosted by Joe Buck.
I've heard of him.
And I think we all know who he is.
Yes, we do. and you have a headline guest as well.
Yes, we have Miss Diana Ross.
Wow.
Who's going to perform for us for that evening, and we're extremely excited about that.
Zach Cozart, leadoff hitter for Cincinnati, bats with 1 out. Adam Wainwright looking sharp here this afternoon. And again, the date of the Dinner with the Stars is April 28th. That's Saturday, April 28th at the Peabody Opera House. And folks, how can folks find out about how to get tickets and about that event?
Right. All they have to do is go on to varietystl.org and click on events, and all of our events will be there, and tickets are available. We'd sure love to see a good turnout from everybody from the community to help our kids with physical and mental disabilities. And you know, Rick, this is our 80th anniversary, so we are really celebrating.
As you should be. And one of the things about St. Louis, Jan, is that the community celebrates when collectively, when we have folks like you and organizations that are serving young people especially. And so glad to hear about what you're doing on a Cardinal telecast here. There's a fly ball deep to center. Jay on the move, and he makes the play over the shoulder, drifted a bit. Had his sights on it the whole way, but that ball just carried off the bat of Zach Cozart. So 2 outs for Cincinnati here in the top of the 3rd. One more look at John Jay, making it look easy. Out number 2. That brings in Drew Stubbs. Again, we're with Jan Albus, executive director of Variety. Such good work with kids, and we're excited about that week that you've got coming up.
Yeah, it's really great. And for the first time in our history at the Peabody, it's all being underwritten so that every dollar goes to the kids. And we're just really excited about that. Worldwide Technologies and CIN team have partnered up to do that for us, and that just means that everything we take in goes to the kids.
Outstanding. Drew Stubbs fouls that pitch off. He singled and was left stranded in the 1st inning. Adam Wainwright sharp so far. The velocity a bit better here this afternoon. No score from St. Louis. Wainwright 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. Jan, we appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon, and best of luck with your Variety Week, April 21st to the 28th.
Well,
thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much, and be sure to get your pizzas on Wednesday.
I'm
buy them and freeze them.
I'm in.
Them all year.
I'm in. I'll get Al to do it too.
There you go.
Thanks, Jan.
Thanks
Good to be
a lot.
with us. 1 and 2 to Drew Stubbs. Wainwright. Swing and a miss. He strikes out Stubbs. That's his 3rd of the afternoon. So far, so good for the Cardinal right-hander Wainwright. this may be our favorite hardware, Al. Rip Rowan and Jerry Risch both receiving the award for MLB Equipment Managers of the Year.
And that is a award voted on by their fellow equipment men. Jerry Risch right there is the visitor, and Rip is the home. And it's the first time that a tandem here that they have awarded to the same organization the home and visitors award. You never knew Butch Yockerman, did you?
I did.
You did? When was his final year?
I believe it was early 80s.
But Butch Yockerman, who was the clubhouse man when I played here and trained both Jerry and Rip and Buddy Bates, and think about it, the home would be back into the 20s. We would have only 3 clubhouse guys, home clubhouse guys. But at one time, Butch Yockerman was either the bat boy or the clubhouse man for every postseason team up until his departure.
Tyler Green batting in the 8th spot against Bronson Arroyo. And those are some of the positions that are so important to these players. They're people that the general Cardinal Nation fan may not know about Rip Rowan and what he does and Jerry Risch, but they're such an integral part of what goes on here at the ballpark.
For instance, we wouldn't be able to play tomorrow night in Pittsburgh without their help.
They're dealing with everybody's luggage,
all the equipment,
and the
luggage, and now today, we have the 757's charters for all the equipment that they carry.
Line drive right at the third baseman, Frazier. One out in the Cardinal third.
Butch Yockerman every now and then wouldn't like a player, and he'd tell me, I was here before you, and I'll be here after you.
Well, you don't want to get on the bad side of the clubhouse guy.
No. And there are a lot of times, there's executives that they'll come down and talk to those clubhouse guys, and they'll say, how's this guy? What's he like? How does he treat you? And there's trades that have been made or not made based on what the visitor or home clubhouse man will say.
I asked Buddy Bates my first year if I could get an autograph for a couple of the players. I was a little timid about asking him, and he sent me to Dave Ricketts to get my answer. Strikeout of Wainwright, and I got yelled at in front of the whole team for about 10 minutes, so I never asked that question again.
He just went and did it.
That's right. You have a question for us, you can go to carsoup.com/Cardinals. Send us your email the booth questions. Always enjoy that portion of our telecast. Glad you're with us here this afternoon. Cardinals looking for a sweep. Almost, I don't know, amazing, maybe too strong of a word, Al, but surprising certainly the start that the Cardinals have had here in April.
Well, we had a very good, spring training. Best record in the National League. You knew this was a very good ball club, and you just hope for Mike Matheny's sake that it would get off to a good start. But this is really not that surprising to me. They're this good.
Fly ball to center field. Shallow center again. Stubbs is going to get this one. So 3 up, 3 down for the Cardinals. We're through 3, 2 hits apiece. That's it.
The health of moms and babies, Schnucks Pharmacy offers free prescriptions, prenatal vitamins. Many of your most commonly prescribed prenatal vitamins are on the program. Just ask your Schnucks pharmacist or check online at schnucks.com/pharmacy.
Nice crowd on hand here at Busch Stadium. Cardinal fans have seen 2 world champions since this ballpark opened in 2006. That year and last year. Really a pleasant afternoon for baseball.
Opened up my pool yesterday, so it better be nice.
Very nice. When's the party, Al?
Tomorrow.
Are we all invited?
Well, I guess you are. You're home.
No, I'm with you.
Oh, that's right. You're doing radio.
Can't handle being without you, Al.
In lovely Pittsburgh.
Votto, Phillips, and Bruce, the middle of the order for Cincinnati. Curveball misses away. Cardinals headed to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's pitching has been very good so far this year. They're off to a 5-7 start.
They're really struggling to score runs, right?
They are not scoring runs. A lot like Cincinnati. Batting average as a team around 200. And as you think about this Cardinal team, and we've talked about the fast start, it's going to happen where this team is going to deal with some adversity. It's just going to happen. You can't go a whole year without it happening multiple times.
Well, they have done a deal with some adversity. You got Carpenter, you've got Berkman, you've got some of the nagging little injuries, but so far Mike Matheny's plugged in, guys coming off the bench. They're performing a lot better than maybe was expected.
You miss Berkman, but when Carpenter gets 4 hits playing first base, it doesn't hurt so.
Yeah, Matt Carpenter.
That's right.
Chris Carpenter, I think, just have to quit asking the question. Just kind of wait and see when the doctors give him an okay to start accelerating his comeback. But Lance Lynn hasn't missed a beat, has he?
Been outstanding. As has Jake Westbrook and Kyle Loeb.
It's all been good.
Jason Mott.
And if you get Wainwright going again, there's Lance Lynn, and he's 2-0. He will be on the mound tomorrow night against Charlie Morton. But Lance 2-0 with a 1.50. That's how you replace injuries.
Full count to Votto. Leading off the Reds' 4th. Swing and a miss. Votto strikes out. That's 4 strikeouts for Wainwright. Our Chevy Fox tracks.
A little cutter. Break around in the corner, but just watch the mannerisms. That Adam Wainwright figured it out. And we kind of had the feeling when we saw him having a little fun in the dugout with Westbrook and then Carpenter joined him that, okay, it was fun yesterday, but we knew that he would be all business today, and he figured things out from what he called the worst start of his career last Friday.
He has a very direct way of kind of self-analyzing what he's done. He'll admit when he's bad, but he'll say in the next sentence, it's not going to keep happening. I'm going to get it right. And he didn't get that one right. Brandon Phillips, first home run, first RBI of the season. And the Reds get on the board first.
He was 1 for 10 in the series before this one swing. Only a matter of time you're going to keep him down. He hit 300 last year, 18 bombs, and there you see the powerful swing. Watch the follow through. And he knew it was gone and ran around the bases.
He had Benjes 4 for 26 against Wainwright. Jay Bruce struck out in the second, and now a base hit in the fourth over the head of Furcal. So back-to-back hits for Cincinnati here in the fourth inning. And we'll see if Wainwright can get that bulldog thing going and minimize the damage.
That's right. You know, he's in the second time through the order. First time through, he gave up 2 hits, including a double to Ludwig. Retired the first 3, but then Phillips hits the home run, and Jay Bruce gets the base hit. But like you said, you just kind of bow your neck, get a ground ball, and hopefully you turn 2. 4 double plays last night that helped Garcia.
Ludwig certainly a candidate for a double play, but a long one to left. Holiday is back to the track, and this ball is gone. Ryan Ludwig, a 2-run shot, and just like that, it's 3-0 Cincinnati.
Once again, kind of this first pitch. You know, Matt just kind of drifted back on that ball, really just got over the wall, and if he kind of would have maybe ran straight back and got to the wall and then jumped up, he might have been able to bring that one back. Derek Lilliquist, quick visit to come out and talk to the battery.
So the walls kind of come tumbling down on here on Wainwright in the fourth inning. He was cruising.
Yeah, he was, and you know that second time through the order, you know, you're going to kind of tell the story. No doubt, teams are trying to jump on that first pitch.
Unofficially, both pitches that were hit for home runs were 84-mile-an-hour cutters.
You pitch with a little less velocity, and that cutter just doesn't have quite the sharpness. There's the breaking ball, the curve ball.
Ground ball to third. Nice play. Backing up a bit is Descalzo. Good footwork to get the right hop. He throws out Todd Frazier. Let's take another look at the location of both of those home run pitches delivered by Wainwright.
Okay, set up away, and the ball just right on the inner half. There you see that little cutter that just sat there on the inner half. Pretty much the same pitch, except Ludwig's a little more, always been a low ball hitter. Instead of getting that pitch out away from him, he kind of sat on the middle third, and they usually get hit hard.
This is hit hard. Jay on the move, and he runs it down. He's been active in center field. He retires the Reds, but they strike with 3 here in the fourth. Clubs off to just great starts. In 2012, the Cardinals coming off the World Championship, 9-3. So far, first in the Central. And how about those Blues? Outstanding year, Central Division champions. The Blues playoffs continue tonight. You don't have to change the channel at all. Live coverage of the game starts at 9 o'clock. Blues live. Then you'll find the game right here on Fox Sports Midwest at 9:30. The Blues and the Sharks tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. John Kelly, Darren Pang, Bernie Federko on the call. Blues up 2-1. Go Blues.
Hopefully we'll get a chance to see that, as we'll be in Pittsburgh tonight. Be there plenty of time to get for the start of that game.
You bet. Ground ball to the right side. John Jay has bounced out twice to Brandon Phillips. Arroyo has the Cardinals off balance so far this afternoon, trying to protect that 3-0 lead that his team gave him in the top half of this inning.
Well, we saw that Adam Wainwright ran in trouble the second time through the order. That's what's happening here with Arroyo, and he is not allowed a home run this season. This is his third start, and he allowed 46 last year. And 2 hits allowed, and they've both been singles.
Matt Holliday struck out swinging in the first.
That was an at-bat that he wouldn't be talking about. You know, when you're hitting 179 and you say, I've been swinging the bat well, that was not an example of it.
Sure wasn't. He's hit some balls hard the other way. You can see that he's trying to make sure he stays closed enough. He's not pulling off. He did pull off of that strikeout pitch in the first inning, but for the most part, he's still using all fields. 2-1.
I think Mike Matheny even noted the other day that he said, I counted 9 line drives that he's hit, really stung the ball, and it was right at someone.
Three-1. There's a strike on the inside corner. Holliday doesn't like that call. It was a hanger. Missouri Lottery Fox tracks.
Kind of looked up a little bit, didn't it? The catcher did a nice job, Hannigan, of pulling that one down. And borderline pitch went Arroyo's way.
The 3-2. Ground ball to the left side. Frazier backs up. High throw over the head of Votto. And that went into the seats. So Holliday will be awarded second base. You just see that coming the way Frazier backed up on that ball.
And most of the time you like to see the aggressive come in, and then you kind of choose your hop. You lay back on it, then you kind of back on your heels. You feel like you've got to overthrow to make up for that little lost time. There's the backup. Still really, just a routine play. And there he kind of got underneath it, slung the ball, and it took off on him. Reached the seats, and so Holliday out in scoring position.
Beltran, ground ball to the right side. Votto backhanded. And he flips to Arroyo. For out number 2, Holliday advances to third. We'll see if the Cardinals can capitalize on that error. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week when the Yankees will be in Fenway Park to take on Adrian Gonzalez and the Red Sox. Or the White Sox will take on Ichiro and the Mariners. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week at 2:30. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. Matt Carpenter hits with 2 outs. 11 RBIs in the early going.
He was, before yesterday's game, he was tied with David Freese, the team lead. David picked up 2 more with a 2 RBI double.
that Carpenter would have some early consideration, and the month's not over yet for Rookie of the Month. And I always think April's the month you want to win that award because people will kind of remember you for the rest of the season. Darwin Barney had a great April last year, hit about 220 the rest of the season, but everybody talked about him all year.
Sure, potential
because of his April.
Rookie of the Year. You're right. You know, we showed his numbers, Carpenter's numbers last night. He's batting .360 now, but he was at .409, and he was just among a handful of players in the major leagues that were batting over .400 and had as many as 10 RBIs.
Popped into center field. Stubbs on the move. Retires Carpenter. So the Cardinals do not capitalize on the error. Still looking for their first run.
Ball hitters, so you'll watch and see as Hannigan will give a high signal. So he's calling for the high pitch here, and that is conducive to a pop-up, and that's what Matt Carpenter did. A little pump of the fist for Hannigan, saying, yeah, I knew we could get him out with that pitch, and they did.
Friendly faces here at Busch Stadium.
Ricky, you know, we were talking the second time through the order. Sometimes you outthink yourself. You know, where you had Wainwright out there basically was fastball and curveball. So the second time through the order, last inning, he started throwing a few more cutters. Now that was okay, but it was bad location, which resulted in the 2 home runs.
Bunt attempt by Arroyo.
Sometimes we give hitters too much credit. You know, if you get them out one way, do it until you get in trouble.
The cutter has certainly become a big weapon for a lot of pitchers in Major League Baseball, but when you hang that pitch, I think it's as hittable as any pitch in baseball.
Most definitely. It's going to be diminished in velocity. It kind of comes a little bit like a BP fastball.
Exactly. Watch out. Base hit up the middle for Arroyo. Sunday, April 29th, the Cardinals take on the Brewers. Tickets.com is giving all fans entering a ticket for an opportunity to take home a replica of the 2011 World Series trophy. Don't miss out. Visit Cardinals.com/promotions for more information. There's the replica trophy. We had a chance to see that up here in the booth. Pretty sharp. That's Sunday, April 29th. So 6 hits now for Cincinnati. Arroyo the runner at first. Zach Cozart at the plate. He's 0 for 2. He is the Reds' rookie shortstop. Cardinals have had a couple of injuries, so have the Reds. And the biggest one that they've had to deal with is their closer Ryan Madsen. Tommy John surgery, he's out for the year. They also are without Nick Massett, a part of their bullpen, so Dusty Baker having to mix and match out in the bullpen. And one guy we had not seen in this series, we will probably see this afternoon, is Mr. Chapman. That's always fun.
I would rather Cardinals have a lead and not see him.
Right. Well, he needs work, so we may see him anyway. Aroldis Chapman off to a fast start for Dusty Baker. Another hanger for Wainwright. This one bounced foul. Dusty, by the way, Al, 21st all-time in wins among Major League managers. He spent 10 years with the San Francisco Giants and 4 with the Cubs, and he's in his 5th now with Cincinnati. But with this longevity, he is moving up the list. He has Hall of Famers in front of him and Hall of Famers underneath him on that list of wins. Ground ball to the left side. Descalzo to Green, to Carpenter, not in time. Cozart runs well. That would have been a tough double play to make work there. The ball not hit hard enough.
See Arroyo, the pitcher, going in down there, and he's going to peel off. No interruption with the throw for Green, just the foot speed of Cozart keeps it from being a double play.
Wainwright worried about that speed. Checks on Cozart. Does not have a stolen base yet. Not really in the same class in terms of speed as Drew Stubbs is.
And Stubbs last year was the toughest to double up in the National League.
Partly because he struck out a lot.
And his good speed, but that is a good point. He only had 2 times he hit into a double play in over 600 bats.
3-0 Cincinnati. There goes the runner, fouled at the plate. Cardinals will have Lance Lynn, Jake Westbrook, and Kyle Loesch as the starters in Pittsburgh. All 3 are 2-0 on the season.
Now the Cardinals came in with an ERA for the team at 2.77, and starting pitchers you just mentioned, the guys will be in that series have been really pitching lights out.
Here's a line drive to left. This is deep but playable by Matt Holliday, and Drew Stubbs just let that ball get in just a bit. Otherwise we might have had another home run.
See another pitch that's right there on the inner part of the plate, a little bit out over the plate, and it probably would have been another home run, just far enough inside.
That pitch as well at 84 miles an hour.
And it's just enough inside, but it really didn't do much. I wonder if it was maybe a changeup, but
Wainwright breezed through the first 3 innings, allowing just 2 hits, struck out 3, and then had a rough 4th. Home runs to Brandon Phillips and Ryan Ludwig. Snap throw. We've seen that before.
Happy 54th anniversary to Dick and Arlene Dolan. They're celebrating right here at the game today.
Better place to be than at the ballpark on your anniversary.
I get it after 54 years, but sometimes the ones that on their wedding night.
Yeah, that's expecting a little too much, isn't it? Hey, forget dinners, forget the flowers.
I don't know, Ricky, what are you expecting?
Go watch a Cardinal game. 2-1 to Joey Votto. Not going to answer that, Al.
Well, there's so many different answers. It is amazing how many weddings do take place, or wedding parties they have here at the ballpark. And a favorite for a lot of wedding planners for their pitchers.
Count full now to Joey Votto.
Sometimes as a pitcher, you throw a pitch and you get away with it.
Right.
And there's times as a hitter, you should have done so much more than what you just did with a pitch.
Pitch count up to 80 for Adam Wainwright. 3-2 delivery here. Curveball is low, and Votto walks. With 2 outs, that sends Cozart to second base, and Wainwright's work is not done here in the 5th.
First walk of the afternoon for Wainwright.
Cruz out to talk to his starter Wainwright. Gives us time to remind you that this MLB on Fox season, Fox Sports is proud to support Boys and Girls Clubs of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. Phillips got Wainwright off track in the 4th inning with a home run, his first of the year. And there's a line drive to right field. This is down for a hit. Beltran has it. Throw comes into second base, and it's 4-0 Cincinnati. Phillips was without an RBI about 30 minutes ago. And now back-to-back at-bats he has produced.
Phillips is a good hitter. It's a matter of time. You have to keep him down. Top prospect for Cleveland. They kind of got tired of him, sent him in a very favorable deal to Cincinnati. And the last 4 years, he's won 3 Gold Gloves, including last season. He won the Gold Glove and the Silver Slugger Award as the best second baseman offensively.
Jay Bruce.
You kind of wonder, and I think maybe the inexperience and kind of an oversight, but Carpenter, why not play behind Phillips, keep him close with a left-handed batter up and a guy with a bad hamstring?
Good question. Opens up that big hole on the right side. We saw Phillips yesterday not running very well defensively on a pop-up over his head, and even on the base paths, he's just not 100%. So he really is not a threat to steal here.
Injured himself last week when the Cardinals were playing. He sat out 4 or 5 games, and you tell, he hit into 2 double plays last night, not running well. And part of the equation is because of Bruce playing, the left-handed swinger.
Busch Stadium, St. Louis, Missouri. Final game of a 3-game series with Cincinnati. Reds have jumped out on top here this afternoon on a beautiful afternoon for baseball. Rick Horton, Al Raboski, and Jim Hayes with you. Curveballs hit on the ground, foul. And it's a big day for sports here in St. Louis. Adam Wainwright to start here this afternoon. The Blues playing tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. Don't want to miss that.
How about a doubleheader win?
It would be nice.
Tom McClellan halfway getting loose in the bullpen, just hoping that Adam will get the final out.
Wainwright set. Curveball is a swing and a miss. And that retires Bruce. It requires a throw to first base. Wainwright trails by 4. Midwest is brought to you by MyKiaSt.Louis.com. Right now at Jack in the Box, you can try the new Chipotle Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. And by the new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible.
I knew a guy that had a bike just like that, and then he went and bought, teal leathers and pants and jackets, went into a biker bar, and they kind of told him, you need to leave. He thought they were fooling it for a minute, and they said, no, really, you need to leave.
You have some interesting friends, Al. That's all I can say. However you got to the park today, it is a pleasant day to be at Busch Stadium. So far, the results have not been that. 4-0 Cincinnati, 3 runs in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. Daniel Descalzo playing third base today. David Freese, you mentioned, Al, no real issues with David Freese other than the fact that he does not hit Bronson Arroyo very well.
And Daniel does, so good day to kind of utilize some guys of the bench. I knew yesterday that Cruz was going to start tonight or this afternoon. And Mike Matheny, like all managers, tries to tell the regulars when they're going to get a day off so they can kind of enjoy it. Not that they wouldn't be ready if called upon, but knowing that they're not going to start.
Ground ball to short. Tough hop, but handled by Cozart. Descalzo hustling all the way, out number 2. Cardinals Magazine is a true keepsake for baseball's best fans. Start your subscription today. You call 314-345-9303 or visit Cardinals.com. Tyler Green bounced out in the 3rd. And we saw some flashes from Tyler Green here yesterday. Given an opportunity this year to play more. And we saw some signs of what he can do here athletically. Al, you keep talking about his athleticism, and we see it, we know it.
Probably the best pure athlete on the team. And, former #1 draft pick out of Georgia Tech. Seen glimpses of it in the minor leagues, and even here at the big leagues. I remember he hit a ball up in the Big Mac land, hit his first home run last season. He's 17 for 17 in stolen bases at the major league level.
Grounded to short. Not fast enough to beat that out. 1-2-3 inning for Arroyo, mowing down the Cardinals. Series in Pittsburgh. Lance Lynn looking for his 3rd victory. Charlie Morton, the starter for Pittsburgh. Coverage begins at 5:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. New pitcher for St. Louis, our Mid-America Chevy dealers called to the bullpen, Kyle McClellan.
Well, the trend continues that no Cardinal pitchers throwing over 100 pitches. Wainwright responsible for all 4 runs. A couple home run balls did him in.
McClellan throws out a hustling Ryan Ludwig. Tune in before tomorrow's Cardinal Pirate game for Toyota Cardinals Live. It'll be Legends Friday. We're going to take a look back at the history of the Cardinals through the players who've helped make the franchise 11-time world champions. Toyota Cardinals Live tomorrow at 5:30, followed by the Cardinals Pirates at 6 p.m. on Fox Sports Midwest. Wild swing by Todd Frazier. Strike one. Kyle McClellan on in relief of Adam Wainwright. What's the grade for Adam Wainwright today, Al? Long one, but foul.
C minus. C.
Sounds about right.
And I think there was improvement, obviously, his last start, but just has to work on things. I think there was a lot more pluses.
0-2, and down goes Frazier.
Just throws him on that curveball. Thought it was going to stay inside, and by the time he relaxed, then it broke over the plate.
Good start for McClellan. Three starts certainly frustrating for Adam Wainwright. Maybe not yet the stage of worry and concern, although many folks that I encounter throughout the week have been a little concerned about Adam Wainwright, maybe more so than people on his team and Adam himself. But correct. I think there's some signs that are just troublesome to Cardinal fans, and certainly understand that.
Well, and part of that is just because he's been so good.
Right.
You're just so accustomed to seeing him go out there and be one of the most successful pitchers in the league. But in fairness, when you come back from Tommy John, it's hard to expect him to be as good as he was. It will happen in time. I think we're all comfortable making that statement.
Would have been nice if his club had supported him with 6 or 7 runs and could have eked out a victory somehow as a building block. Cardinals have not scored when Adam Wainwright's on the mound yet. They've scored after he's come out of the game, which counts towards run support in his starts. But while he's been pitching, the Cardinals are scoreless. The 2-2 to Hannigan. Kyle McClellan had a very interesting offseason. A lot of talk about him being traded. He was a starter out of spring training last year. Outstanding reliever the years before that. And all of a sudden there was a lot of talk about being traded, and he's still here with the Cardinals. And you wonder how much that's played into his psyche.
If you're, it is a business.
Right.
And you've got to take the approach that if your name is being rumored in possible trades, it's because someone wants you.
Right.
Take that attitude instead of somebody who's trying to get rid of you. And every day, John Mozeliak is trying to, how can I better this ball club? There's always possibilities.
Hard hit ball to left center field. It's going to hang up. Holiday goes a long way to nab that one. So 1-2-3 inning for Kyle McClellan. Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Taco Bell, Live Moss, and by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible.
Now McClellan had a 3 up, 3 down, and Shane Robinson's going to pinch hit for him.
Cardinals trail 4-0. Lance Berkman not in the lineup. A re-injury of his calf problem on a pop foul ball here yesterday.
So he doesn't even have his jersey on, so more than likely officially they'll put him on the disabled list tomorrow afternoon, and we'll see Skip Schumacher be recalled from his rehab assignment.
Shane Robinson, very productive, average at .429. Don't get fooled thinking this is a guy where you can knock the bat out of his hands. He has a little pop.
His first major league home run in Milwaukee. Rifled the ball last night. Got it.
And among others, he's in this group of Cardinal players that are helped this team win. And you think about the two that we just saw on the bench. Holiday off to a bad start. Berkman's hurt. Holiday will get there, but you also have Carpenter injured, Wainwright not pitching well, and the Cardinals somehow are still 9-3.
Bronson Arroyo pitching well here today. He's only allowed 2 hits. That follows up his 7 1/3 shutout innings last Friday with only 3 hits allowed. Came out of that game with a lead, and Joe Bray gave up a home run to tie the game up, and then they lost it in 13.
Arroyo did not have a good year last year. Normally a 14-15 game winner. His big league career, he was 9-12 with an ERA over 5. Talked about the home runs he allowed, Al, to lead the National League. He also led the National League in earned runs allowed with 112.
Ton of hits allowed.
Ton of hits.
But he gives you innings. You know, just shy of 200.
There's a line drive to right. It's going to be a base hit for Furcal, and he continues to swing a hot bat. That's 2 hits this afternoon for Furcal, following a 4-hit night last night.
And he's got 8 hits in the 3-game series. Trying to get the ball up again, this time a little bit lower. And Ralphie pulling off the pitch. Just gets it over Phillips and the infield's head, and maybe John Jay can do something. He had great numbers against Arroyo coming in.
Curveball catches the outside corner.
Into a double play, and both times up he's hit the ball to second base.
There's a line drive base hit for John Jay. Cardinals with something going here in the 6th. Furcal draws the throw. Back-to-back hits for Furcal and Jay, setting the table for Matt Holliday.
John Jay picks up his 10th hit and 22 plate appearances against Arroyo. Furcal had to wait there to make sure that it, and then he tried to deke the outfielder. Had to make sure that line drive was not caught in the infield. Then he tried to deke Stubbs, the center fielder, stopping at second, and then tried to turn on the speed to go to third. But Stubbs was alert to it and got it back in.
One hanging curveball away from a 1-run game. There is a high fly to left field. It's back, and it is gone. Matt Holliday, a long homer into the Reds bullpen, and the Cardinals are within 1.
Wasn't a hanging curveball, but it was just as effective. And right now, it's probably the best guy you could have had at the plate for that is Matt Holliday. Not that he needed any help psychologically, but he feels a lot better.
An easy choice for our Nissan drive of the game, Matt Holliday. Home run number 3 on the season, and he drives it.
Did have a little arc in that one, as he hits his 3rd home run. Nearly doubles his RBI total. Is up to 7 now.
Cardinals would love to get Adam Wainwright off the hook here this afternoon.
No doubt about it. We're right back in this ball game.
Beltran pops it up behind home plate. Hannigan runs out of room.
That was Holliday's 3rd home run off of Arroyo. First pitch strike, 17 of 22. First pitch that Holliday hit.
Beltran has 5 home runs on the season, trailing only Matt Kemp in the National League in that department. Are we asking for too much for back-to-back home runs here in the Cardinals 6th?
You can always ask. And he's capable of delivering.
There is a fly ball to right. Out number 2. Little bit out in front of that.
Arroyo gives you so many different looks and variations and off-speed pitches that he'll have a lot of hitters off that front foot.
The game is tightened here in the 6th inning. The Reds had 3 in the 4th, added 1 in the 5th, but the Cardinals strike here in the 6th inning with Matt Holliday. A home run, the big blow. Well hit, but right at the left fielder Ludwig. Matt Carpenter is retired. The Cardinals are back in it, down by 1. Cardinals Kids Club, presented by Rawlings for just $25. Kids get Cardinal tickets, exclusive promotional items, and more. To sign up the young Cardinals fan in your life, go to cardinals.com/Kids Club. Matt Holliday, home run in the bottom of the 6th inning, a 3-run shot, has put the Cardinals back in this game. Adam Wainwright, the starter here this afternoon, 5 innings, 4 earned runs. Kyle McClellan, a scoreless inning, and now the third Cardinal pitcher is the right-hander Victor Marte.
Chevy called to the bullpen. Victor's had at least 1 strikeout in each of his first 5 appearances.
Marte just about ready for the Reds in the 7th inning. We'll ask our AT&T trivia question. Which Cardinals team has had the highest runs per game since 1942? Surprise answer?
Yeah, 2000 team.
Nearly 5.5 runs a game.
A lot of times people would think it would be the 04 team that won 105 games, but when you look back at that 2000 team, there's some pretty good names on that list.
No question. I was very surprised. I would not have said 2000. How about you?
And the reason we showed you that is because the Cardinals are actually coming in today. We're hitting at a higher runs per game than that 2000 team. But how about Edmonds, Renteria, Vigna, Drew, Langford, McGuire, Tatis, Polanco, Paquette, Mike Matheny, Eric Davis, Will Clark, Dunston, Eli Marrero, and Thomas Howard. Yeah, so.
There's a strike from Marte. Eli Marrero, by the way, one of 9 former Cardinals who has a job as a minor league instructor for the Cincinnati Reds. You think Walt Jocketty has something to do with that?
Probably. He inherited some of them, but.
Ground ball backhanded by Furcal. So smooth, strong arm. Throws out Arroyo.
Marte, a big guy. So you can lift that up. A lot of arms and legs coming at you with that big body. He's got a killer slider when he stays on top of it. He can throw hard, but it appears the fastball is very straight. There's the good slider. He led all AAA baseball last year with 31 saves for Memphis.
You really can't afford a weak link in your bullpen, can you? Nice to have everybody working. And your bullpen firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, Tony La Russa really managed his bullpen extremely well. But he would just mix and match constantly. I've always kind of thought, relievers, if they're successful 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5 times, that's pretty good. You see J.C. Romero, the lefty.
He needs work.
But when you're using 4 and 5 relievers a night, it's almost destined to have one of them have a bad outing, and that rarely did happen to the Cardinals. And down the stretch, there were times where that bullpen was counting on 4 and 5 innings, and if any one of those guys had a bad inning, they'd lose a game, and they were awfully good.
Zach Cozart is 0 for 3. Cozart to shortstop, and as you think about the Cincinnati Reds, we haven't mentioned it in this series, but congratulations to Barry Larkin. He'll be entering the Hall of Fame this July, along with Ron Santo. Hall of Fame will have a National League Central feel to it, with Santo and Larkin going in on the 22nd of July. And he was fun to watch play. So is Furcal. Good throw. He's handled the first 2 Reds here in the 7th inning. Our Car Soup email the booth question comes from Austin in Springfield, Missouri. What was your favorite moment in your career as a player, Al?
Never happened for me. It was the dream I had of being on the mound for the last out.
So your favorite moment
of winning the World Series.
That's kind of sad, Al.
Well, you're going to dream big. And I wanted to be on the mound and get the final out of a World Series, and it didn't happen.
Al, you're always very humble about your career, but you were the National League Fireman of the Year, best reliever in the National League, 75. Was that the year?
Yeah, was it 18 or 1975? Sometimes I think it was 18.
It feels that way, I know. But the World Series is what people play for, and getting a chance to stand out on the first base line, being introduced for my first World Series game is a moment I will never forget.
So mine wasn't that far off.
No, it wasn't. Line drive to center. John Jay on his horse again, back to the wall, and he runs out of room and runs into the wall. Drew Stubbs has homered, and it's now 5-3 Cincinnati.
Now Stubbs had 15 home runs last year. He picks up his first. John Jay, I don't think he had any idea that ball was going to carry that way. He did a 360 complete turnaround, and then he just had no idea that he was this close to the wall. Most of the time, an outfielder, when he's going back on the ball, he can sense a transition from the grass to the dirt, and knows that he only has about 2 strides to go before he hits it. And he ran right into that wall, still thinking he had more room.
There's padding on that wall, but that still is that's a high-speed collision right there, especially when, as you say, he's not really expecting it.
And he kind of ran his shoulder into it. Appears to be okay, but he was all turned around on that one.
That's the 4th home run of the day, the 3rd for the Cincinnati Reds. Phillips and Ludwig homered in the 4th. Stubbs now in the 7th. The Cardinals a 3-run shot by Holiday in the 6th. Playing home run derby here. Votto bounces out. Time to stretch at Busch Stadium. Cardinals trail by 2. Celebrate their 11th World Series title with the exclusive 2011 World Series Champions Fan Collection by Jostens. You can shop online today at cardinals.com/rings. 5-3 Cincinnati. Reds have out hit the Cardinals 8-5. Seen 4 home runs here this afternoon. Cruz, Descalzo, and Green for St. Louis against Bronson Arroyo. Curveball, strike 1. Couple of youngsters enjoying afternoon baseball.
Must be straight A students. They could afford to miss school, huh?
Cruz flies out number 1. Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Bronson Arroyo and the Cardinals starter was Adam Wainwright here this afternoon. Glad you're with us. Cardinals off to a hot start. 2012 final game of the 3-game series here this afternoon. The Cardinals hoping for a sweep, and if they do it, they're going to have to come from behind. Check swing is foul. Descalzo has bounced out twice. Cardinals, Al, are hoping for that phrase that we spent a lot of time talking about in the offseason, hoping for a happy flight.
I'm more than happy to join their happy flight.
Don't want a sad flight. Even if the Cardinals do not come back today, you'd have to say this homestand is as good as you could have hoped for.
But you get a little disappointed when you win the first 2 games of the series. You can't close it out with a sweep. Same thing happened in Cincinnati. Getaway day, the last game, the Reds came from behind and took a victory away from the Redbirds. Maybe it's turnaround's fair play. Even happy flight is on the new ring.
Two to Descalzo. Cardinals need a base runner. Get that tying run at the plate here in the 7th inning. Tyler Green will bat next. Mike Matheny sitting some regulars today. Yadier Molina, David Freese, of course Lance Berkman dealing with an injury, and some folks have said, Al, you know, I don't like the way Mike is doing that, as Tony La Russa used to do that, but really we're so used to Tony doing it. Every manager does it.
Yes.
You rest your players on day games often. Strike out to Descalzo.
No Scott Rowland today.
No Scott Rowland. Originally, no Jay Bruce in the lineup. Pulling the string.
Curveball right there. 5 through 9. We're 0 for 15.
Tyler Green contributing to that. He's bounced out twice.
All right, 13. 0 for 13. Tyler, don't get me closer.
I was going to trust you with that. So Arroyo's getting the hitters out he's supposed to get out.
It really is. You know, you kind of dissect the batting order, and top of the order are going to be high on base percentage guys. They're going to be, and then you kind of get to the middle of the order, and they're going to be your big power hitters that drive people in. But that last 3, you just dominate against.
Very interesting conversation in the pregame show about how players now are making, you were part of that, making in-game adjustments. We got that from John Mabry.
Yeah, John, it used to be a few years ago, and there's a strikeout over 14 bottom 5. We'll talk more about that.
Well, the adjustment didn't happen there. 1, 2, 3 inning for Arroyo on to the 8th. studio with this Bommarito Sports Update. Pat? Thanks, Pat. Very hot Matt Kemp. A couple of changes for the Cardinals here in the top of the 8th. A new pitcher and a new center fielder.
Komatsu is scheduled to bat for Marte if that inning would have gone longer. So they do a double switch. They put Komatsu in the 9th spot in the batting order, and then J.C. Romero comes in and relieves Marte, and he'll bat in John Jay's spot. Hopefully John Jay didn't, on top of that, injure himself with that collision with the wall and Stubbs' home run.
Romero needs some work. Scoreboard actually showing Romero batting in the 9th spot.
I'm not sure I trust that scoreboard in the early going.
But it does make you wonder. Normally on a double switch, you would double switch with somebody that just hit. So you do wonder about the condition of John Jay. We hear something, we'll pass that along. A fly out in foul territory is handled by Beltran. Well, what do we expect out of J.C. Romero in 2012?
Well, he's going to be a left-handed specialist. And J.C. had some very good years with Philadelphia. He threw a lot harder back then, but the other day he was quite impressive and picked up a couple strikeouts against left-handed batters. That was Saturday against Chicago. We struck out 2 lefties. They finished an inning off.
Ground ball base hit through the left side for Jay Bruce. That's his 2nd hit of the afternoon. Break down the motion, Al, if you would, of J.C. Romero.
Well, he's not very tall, but you see he has a much longer stride than for his height. Real stiff front leg, and then he gets it out there and flexes, comes over the top knee, but really not the drop the knee and drive type guy, more tall and fall.
Good look at his motion on our Hyundai Foxmo. So Bruce, the runner at first for Ryan Ludwig. His 2-run shot, a big hit in this game. That came against the Cardinal starter Adam Wainwright, who allowed 7 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. Walked just 1 batter, struck out 5. That's a good sign. Velocity came back, especially early.
It was an improvement, and Chapman is warming up for the Reds. That's a sight we didn't want to see. Always fun to watch him pitch, but you'd rather see him in with a big Cardinal lead and him needing some work, not trying to preserve a victory.
Agreed. Should be a lot of fun for Eric Komatsu to have to face him.
Oh, really?
You're a rookie, haven't played much at levels above A-ball and Double-A, and now you're in the big leagues, Rule 5 guy, and you're going to get a late at bat, and you're going to face a guy throwing 102 miles an hour. Go get him, kid. Popped into right. Beltran's been busy today. Retires Ryan Ludwig.
Very graceful in the field, isn't he?
Sure is.
Big-time Gold Glove winner, and very casual. They're trying to use the glove to block the sun. not only has the shades down, but also an outfielder's glove allows you to kind of look through the webbing and kind of screen the sun and make it easier to catch that ball.
Todd Frazier fouls back the first delivery from Romero. Scoreless frame for Kyle McClellan. Victor Marte allowed a 2-out home run to Drew Stubbs to center field. John Jay ran into the center field wall hard, and he's been replaced by Komatsu. Perhaps part of a double switch, perhaps more.
If Komatsu is batting in the John Jay's vacated spot, it could kind of make sense too. He's still going to be the third hitter, and J.C. Romero being a left-handed specialist, you don't want him going more than an inning anyway.
Correct. Oh, 0-2 to Todd Frazier. John Jay showing very good hustle. Stubbs showing power.
Going back, they really never made the transition from grass to warning track, and he just ran straight back into that wall, and most of the time you can feel the difference going from grass to the gravel, and you just then I got to pull up. We're also talking about who else would you have taken out of the game? You don't want to do it Tyler Green. You don't have another second baseman really. You don't want to bring David Freese in here unless you get his chance for him to swing the bat and win the game for you. You don't want Molina to replace Cruz, so.
And Berkman unavailable.
Yeah, so you kind of have to figure out what the thinking was. A little bit of all the above.
Most teams use a 5-man bench, but if one of those players is unavailable on a given day for whatever the reason, not injured enough to be on the disabled list, or you're not sure, or you can't get a player here, that really does, pardon the expression, but it hamstrings you.
Yeah, that was. We're led to believe that if Schumacher and Memphis had a day game today, if he comes out of that game successful, he will be meet us in Pittsburgh, and they put Berkman on the disabled list. But they also called him to find out, where are you? Are you comfortable enough coming up?
Burkall throws out Frazier. Mike Matheny pushing the buttons here late in this ballgame. sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
And here we go. Here we go, second-guessing manager.
You and me both.
And what we're second-guessing is, I'd rather have David Freese hit the 3-run home run, not Komatsu. Komatsu came in what we potentially a double switch, and you'd have Komatsu leading off, and then David Freese could be hitting in the 3rd spot in the order, John Jay's spot, and hitting the 3-run home run to win this game. Probably the
line drive caught by the shortstop Cozart. That ball hit right on the money by David Freese.
Probably the only real decision you'd have, that tough decision for Matheny to explain. And he'll have a good answer. But
I'm sure he will.
David, I think, was 0 for 9 before he hits this one right on the nose, but caught.
Getting news on John Jay that he did leave this game with a right shoulder sprain, and his status is day-to-day. The Cardinals making that announcement. He did hit that center field wall very hard, and just hope again that this is not a major thing for John Jay, just precautionary, but he was removed from the game here this afternoon.
And you know, we'll have to talk to him because they did put in a new warning track here.
Right.
They thought it was a little bit too rough and rocky. So
right.
They put in a new warning track. Well, maybe this one's a little too smooth. And he couldn't tell the difference and ran straight into the wall and injured himself.
Two-hit afternoon for Rafael Furcal. He singled and scored in front of Matt Holliday's home run in the 6th inning. Cardinals need base runners here in the 8th. Ground ball up the middle. And well played by Cozart, who was shading him up the middle. A lot of multiple hit games for Rafael Furcal early going, but did not pick up his 3rd there.
He was trying to pick up his 9th hit of this series. 4 hits last night. And here's Komatsu, who went in last inning to play center field for John Jay. Eric had never played above Double-A, but selected in the Rule 5 draft, so must stay with the big club.
Fly ball to center. Eight straight for Arroyo.
St. Louis coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris and Cal Eldred are at Lumiere Place. A full breakdown of Wayno's day. Mike Matheny's post-game thoughts, plus the guys help celebrate National High Five Day. Fernando Salas comes on to pitch for the Cards. We go back to the booth, and Rick and Al. Gentlemen.
And a big high five to you, Jim Hayes. Thanks for all your work. Fernando Salas is the 5th Cardinal pitcher of the afternoon. Redbird making friends here at the ballpark. Salas trying to keep this game close. The Cardinals trailing by 2 in the 9th.
He was a very smart young man. He was afraid of Fredbird.
You spent some time with Fred Bird yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Visited schools in Belleville.
School program has been going on for a long time.
Oh, Joe Cunningham started that more than 20 years ago. And still going strong. Unfortunately, there's a need, anti-drug message for elementary schools.
Fastball fouled back. Adam Wainwright on the hook here this afternoon. Salas trying to keep this game close. 8-9-1. Here's a line drive base hit to center field.
Hannigan's worked very well with his pitcher, but that ball right down the middle. Hannigan gets his first hit. He and Arroyo have worked very well together, and Arroyo will come to the plate here in the 9th inning trying to get his complete game.
Bunting situation. Pinch hitter is pulled back. Closer Sean Marshall is getting loose.
Because it's a bunting situation with Marshall throwing, it's Bronson won't get the chance to get the complete game. They'll go to their closer. Lost Matson, but Marshall was going to be the guy that will get most of the assignments, and he's the one who only has the only save this year for the Reds.
So really a case for Dusty Baker of not wasting a pinch hitter just to bunt a runner over. 0-2 the count to Arroyo. We've seen pitchers have a hard time getting that bunt down. Garcia and Latos last night, both unsuccessful.
You see Sean Marshall, first year with the Reds. Great setup here for the Cubs. The Reds starters don't have, there is no victories other than the opening day win by Cueto.
Hard charging was Descalzo at third, and Arroyo a strikeout victim bunting. Out number 1. Well, we did not see Aroldis Chapman after all. Or at least we have not yet.
We still may.
Now the only way to see him is get the Reds into extra innings, and maybe we'll see him then.
Just see him in the bottom of the 9th, and he can be on the mound for the game-winning rally.
We'll watch him on TV in Chicago. Or you can see him right now. Oldest Chaplin, 2009, defected from Cuba, and has shown some kind of ability. (5-3) Cincinnati.
Cubs lose again. They've lost 5 straight. They lose 5-3 to Miami. LA has a 4-3 lead, batting in the 9th at Milwaukee. Cincinnati comes into today's action 4 games under 500, 5 games back of the Cardinals.
Cardinals, Dodgers, and Nationals, the division leaders through 2 weeks. All three clubs playing well. Slider misses. 1-2 to Zach Kozar.
Rangers are 10-2. They have the most, tied for the most wins with Washington. That is 10-3.
Detroit's 9-3. That's not a surprise.
No.
Baltimore leads the American League East. That is. Should get out of play. Matt Carpenter gives chase. Fernando Salas, a big part of the Cardinals bullpen last year, came out of nowhere really. Throws a lot of strikes. Jams the hitter here, and Komatsu on the run makes the play. Center field, not really his best outfield position, but he got a good jump there on that line drive.
One of the reasons why they felt like they could keep him in the roster is his ability to play all three outfield. And he does the right thing here. You know, just don't take it for granted. Just go out there and execute that throw. You know, don't take the time and allow a guy to sneak up a base. Just assume he's going to throw and then make a good accurate throw and stop the run game.
Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning. What would Mr. Shannon say? Old Abner's done it again. Middle of the order, Matt Holliday, Carlos Beltran, and Matt Carpenter for the Cardinals. And they will face Sean Marshall, the closer for Cincinnati, who's getting loose. Former Cub, had a good year last year. And with Matson injured, he is their closer.
Stubbs hit the home run, his first of the year back in the 7th. Cardinals haven't done much, but it sure would have been nice to keep that one-run deficit.
Feels like a much bigger lead, doesn't it?
Well, you've got to get somebody on before you could, one swing could tie it, when as it is now with 5-3. It's a little more pressure on the defense and the pitcher.
Just missing the inside corner is Salas.
I mentioned Salas, a big part of the bullpen last year. He led the club with his 24 saves. Only the third Mexican-born pitcher to have as many as 24.
Must be sneaky fast too. Doesn't throw
and
overly
a very good
quick.
changeup, yeah.
And a good changeup. He jams Stubbs, but that's going to be a base hit. He fists it to right field. So 2 on for Cincinnati in the 9th inning. Gives Joey Votto one more plate appearance, and you would have liked to have avoided this.
Absolutely. They had the ball running in on him, but he uses his hands and kind of fists it, but muscles it over the infield, and a 3-hit day for Drew Stubbs. But this is the big guy. 0 for 3 with a walk.
Hannigan the runner at second, Stubbs at first. Dusty Baker trying to win for the 1,489th time.
You see the Reds are 2 wins away from 10,000 in their history. Of course, the Cardinals have already attained that level, and the Giants have the most wins in Major League history. Giants have 10,528 wins. Cubs are second best. That's hard to believe. The Dodgers And then the Cardinals with 10,204. Braves 10,041, and the Reds are 2 away from 10,000.
There's a line drive base hit to right. Beltran charges. No chance at home. Gets the ball into second base. And a tack-on run for Cincinnati here in the 9th. RBI hit for Joey Votto. Now that lead seems very big.
Now, it wasn't a typical Joey Votto hit that just sounded crisp and clean. A little bit right off the end of the bat, and that's why it didn't carry all the way to Beltran. So Hannigan comes around to score, making it a 6-3 lead. Runners at the corners. 3 hits in this inning off of Salas.
Big swing by Phillips, fouls it back. Well, we mentioned that Cincinnati has not swung the bat very well this year. Their batting average in the low 200s, and you just knew it was a matter of time. They have 12 hits here this afternoon, and they've also played a little long ball.
And they came in with a .211 batting average. They were hitting in the 170s with runners in scoring position. And now they've 6 runs and 12 hits.
$40,049 here at the ballpark, not counting Scott Rowland.
He's here, but
he's just not counted in the attendance. He didn't pay to come here, I don't think.
You know, Scott Rowland, you just think of him as his everyday player. But when he first came to St. Louis, I remember him telling me that Tony La Russa and he had a discussion. They said, all right, Scotty, you're going to be here for quite a while. There are going to be times I want to rest you. When do I rest you? And he goes, well, I don't ever want to be rested, but if you're going to rest me, do it on a day game after a night game.
There you go. Matt Holliday leads it off for St. Louis. They need 3 in the bottom of the 9th. Let's go. And very good outing for him against a hot Cardinal ball club. 8 solid innings, just 5 hits. And he is on the positive side of a 6-3 score. Defensive replacement for Cincinnati. Familiar face, Scott Rowland takes over at third. Chris Heisey takes over in left field. And the closer is Sean Marshall, the former Clip.
Only appearing for the 5th game. He's lost one. He has 1 save. The bullpen only has 1 save. Arroyo, too much of him. He pitched the first 8 innings. Really, the only time he got in trouble was in the 6th. 3 consecutive base hits. The single by Furcal, single by John Jay, and then a 3-run home run by this man, Holiday. But look at how he contained 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 in the order. 0 for 15.
And no walks for Arroyo. That's pretty typical for him. Guy that throws a lot of strikes. Part of the reason he gives up a lot of home runs. Cardinals down to their last 3 outs, trailing by 3. Marshall, a decent year last year, a better than decent year for the Cubs. Been more of a setup man in his career.
Marshall has a 2.67 ERA and 237 relief appearances. Last season with the Cubs, it was just 2.26, 5 saves and 78 relief outings. And he established a single season holds record with 34 for the Cubs. They acquired him to help their bullpen out, but they were anticipating him being the setup man to Matson. He signed a 1-year contract and then found out he needs Tommy John surgery.
Holiday's 3 for 8 against Marshall in his career. Molina has hit him well. Berkman has hit him well, but he's not available. And most of the other Cardinals have struggled against Sean Marshall. 2-2 the count to Matt Holliday. Curveball's hit on the ground to the right side, and it finds a hole. Leadoff hit for Holliday and some life for the Cardinals. That's his 2nd hit of the afternoon. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Carlos Beltran, 1 for 3.
All 5 of his home runs have been hit left-handed. But he is batting .444, 4 for 9. His right side, his natural side.
Those 2 runs that the Reds picked up, 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 9th against the Cardinals bullpen, are huge. Can't check his swing. Marshall has that sweeping breaking ball that's very, very sharp. 6'7", 220. Beltran 0 for 9 against Marshall.
All the due factor. He's due.
He is still due, Al.
0 for 10 with 2 strikeouts now.
Nasty breaking pitch right there from Sean Marshall.
We've seen Matt Carpenter hang in tough against left-handed pitching, but we'll see how he fares against this guy. Maybe the first time he's ever faced Marshall. Or if it's not, it'll be very few at bats. First time?
Actually 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
Reds don't expect Holliday to run, and his run just doesn't really mean that much when you're down by 3. So Votto will play behind Holliday at first.
Carpenter's average at .333, limited playing time, but been very effective. Been mostly playing first base, spelling Lance Berkman, but really a third baseman, an outfielder. Really not sure of his best position defensively.
Well, right now, we hope he's a good hitter. Marshall has a twin brother, Brian, who was selected by the Red Sox in the 5th round of June 2003 first-year player draft. He's 6'7", 220. Went to Virginia Commonwealth University.
ECU. Two and one to Carpenter. Swing and a miss. On another very good off-speed pitch from Marshall. And if you're going to talk about a closer type pitch for him, it would be his breaking ball more than his fastball.
Correct.
Think of Sparky Lyle as maybe one of the early closers that kind of had that mode where you just come in, throw that slider one after another. And there's another slider, and it's strike three. And the Cardinals are down to their last out.
6'7", and he looks like he reach out and touch you and then get that breaking ball, and he can spot it very effectively.
And the good slider has that tight spin where you don't really see, and you almost don't see slider until the last second, and then it breaks and you're taking that right turn. So it's up to Tony Cruz to keep things going. Cardinals need a bloop and a blast. Holliday takes second base.
They were giving him second base. As said, Holliday's run only gets you closer, but not close enough. Tying run is in the on-deck circle.
No stolen base for Holliday. Cruz is 0 for 3, part of that 0 for in the bottom of the Cardinals order that's now stretched to 0 for 16.
And 1 for 20 when you go from 4 through 9.
Cardinals need another base runner to make this interesting. Could we possibly see Yadier Molina if Cruz gets on base? Batting for Descalzo?
Probably not, because if you tied it up. First, Yadi can, I mean, you could put Cruz some of the different places. Put it over at third.
Put Yadi at first, Carpenter at third. You can put Kyle Loesch out there somewhere. We've seen that happen.
Owen Daly.
All those things going on in the mind of Mike Matheny right now. What he really wants is Cruz to reach base. Cardinals down to their last strike. The 1-2. Fouls it off. Sean Marshall did the Worrell Daly thing where he went out and played left field, came back in against the Cardinals at Wrigley Field. Lefty, righty, lefty. So he's had some experience doing that.
Who was the manager that when Whitey did that one time, the manager thought it was illegal?
I think it was Lasorda.
I think it was too. That would make sense.
1-2 to Cruz. Swing and a miss. And the Reds avoid the sweep here this afternoon at Busch Stadium. Wainwright the loser. Bronson Arroyo your winning pitcher.
Well, another series win for the Cardinals. A very successful homestand. But just somewhere in the back of your mind, you're a little bit disappointed they couldn't close out this sweep.
Just 6 hits for the Cardinals here this afternoon. Sean Marshall closes it out.